All right, what is up, movers? I'm Coach Howe, and today we're tackling our flow level 1. This is our basic, very introductory level 1 flow. It's going to be some super gentle, fairly easy movement here. So we're going to get in some good stretches, get in some good spinal hygiene, and really set ourselves up for the day. This is a great practice to do, once again, at the beginning of the day, at the end of your day, or especially right before a practice session at the range or before a round. It's a quick 10 to 15 minute little flow. It's really going to prime you for whatever activity you're getting into. And let's just go ahead and get into it. So the reason why I give you a 10 to 15 minute buffer is because there's a couple positions here we can spend a little bit more time in if that's what works best for you. And let's go ahead and tackle it. So first one we're getting into here is a little pigeon side stretch. And this is, once again, we're going to spend 1 minute in this position, but if you want to spend 2 minutes on each side, that's fair game, all up to you. But let's go ahead and get into it. Starting now, we're going to go ahead and get set for this pigeon position. So I'm going to go ahead and take my right foot back. I'm going to take my left foot, ankle it in just a little bit, and sit back into my left hip. Once again, we're always making sure that pressure is engaged in that back side and no pinching or funny stuff here in the front. I'm gonna take my left hand, I'm gonna pull it back to my left knee, pull that elbow to the floor, and I'm gonna let my right hand come up and over my midline. Once again, we're gonna spend just 1 minute here for the purpose of this video, but if this is a really nice position for you, feeling that nice stretch in the left side of the glute, and then big stretch on that right side body, I'm actually gonna ask that we take a big inhale here and try and fill up that right armpit space. And then on that exhale, we're gonna try and sit back into that left hip a little bit more, get a little bit more left hip engagement. And on this next inhale, breathe into that right side body, into that right hip, that right lower back, trying to create more space, more length on this right side. And if you want to spend a little bit more time here, that is all up to you. We're gonna get up and out of this left side now, and we're gonna switch it on over to the right. So once again, from my tabletop, kind of getting pressure into this right side, drop that left leg back, right knee just comes in, right knee points out a little bit, right foot comes in, and I'm gonna, once again, sit back into the pressure of my right hip. Take my right hand down to my right knee, drop that elbow, left hand comes up and over across the midline. Once again, trying to sit into this right hip, trying to get that right hip deep and back. I'm gonna pull that right shoulder back. Right ear kind of comes forward. Don't wanna let the head get lost over here. We're gonna keep the head towards that right column, pulling up, and a nice big deep breath into this left armpit. Next inhale, we're gonna fill up that left hip, left low back, and full left side body, getting a big stretch in this left side. Really good work here. We're gonna come up out of that, and we're gonna set up into our rockers with a little bit of a wide set. Usually I instruct about 1 fist width apart for rockers, but we're gonna get into a little bit more than 2 fist width apart. And we're gonna go ahead and just rock out here. We're gonna make sure our hands are just underneath us with our pressure on the outside blades of the hand, and a little bit of pressure into the tops of the shins, top of the feet, making sure chest and head are up. And we're just bouncing back and forth here in our rockers, lighting up that back side, really searching for that lateral calf, hamstring, and glute complex. Your pace here can be nice and slow, can be small, slow, small, fast, big and fast, however you want to run the rhythm here. It's totally up to you, as long as we were getting that engagement in the backside. So now that we've gotten a couple reps here in the rockers, let's bring those knees together. And we're gonna corner rock a little bit. I really wanna get the femurs to roll in their hip socket, so I'm just gonna roll side to side. Once again, chest and chin stay up, eyes are up. I've got a little bit of pressure into the outside blades of my hands, and you can kind of rock the shoulders back and down with this motion here. We wanna try and make this an organic movement. We don't wanna be real stiff here, trying to pull our shoulders down super taut. We just wanna get nice and loose here, wiggle into our hips, give a little love to the spine. And now we're gonna stay in this knees close rocker position. However, once we rock and we come forward, we're gonna let the hind legs come out. So we're gonna go into a bit of a rocker fly. I'm gonna give you a backside view here. So as I come back, I'm gonna let my feet fly out. We call these rocker flies. Once again, this is gonna be pretty good for the hips and low back. Definitely a little bit of low back coming online as we pull those heels out. We wanna make sure heels stay away, toes go in. We don't wanna get caught in this position. We always want those heels going away. So good work here. Get 2 more of those. And we are gonna get ready to sit back into our Seiza position. So from here, we're just gonna work on our shoulders a little bit. We're gonna start with internal rotation, shoulders come up. As they work back, we externally rotate, show the palms, and drop down. So we're gonna inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. We're gonna keep this going. Notice how I stay in my back chain. My ribs are in front of my hips. I'm not getting stuck back working here in this position. This is no good. We really wanna keep the butt behind us, rib cage in front of the hips, and we're gonna continue to roll our shoulders here. Once again, how big and how quick you go is all gonna be up to you. Let's make sure our chest stays reaching forward and our chin and our eyes stay up. And then we can if this feels really good with a little bit of a quicker motion, you can let that serve you. I personally like slow and controlled. And we're gonna get ready to flip-flop here. We're gonna, instead of going up and back, we're gonna go the other way. So we're gonna pull our shoulders back and up. Keep this going for another 30 seconds. Really trying to get the shoulders to do the work here. Trying to stay out of the neck. Really good work. Come back towards you guys. And next, we have a little bit of the same motion going on, but we're gonna get some side bend into the motion. So from here, if you wanna come up off of your heels a little bit, you can. If you wanna stay seated in your heels, you can. But we're gonna continue the shoulder flow motion with getting a little bit of a side bend. And I do kinda like to sit up in this. You can almost rock back and forth if you like, but we're really trying to focus on the shoulders here. So we're gonna keep our hips behind that rib cage, opening and pulling those shoulders back, really working on keeping that chest spearing forward, chin and eyes up. We're gonna keep this going for another 20 seconds. Good work. Once again, making this a little bit more of an organic movement. We don't want to be too stiff here, pulling out a ton of tension. We're really trying to get loose and flow with this. We're gonna come into our all fours, kind of a cat-cow position. We're gonna tuck the toes behind us, and we are just going to pull one shoulder down and back, keeping that head swiveling from column to column. You'll notice that as I pull my shoulder back, my armpit elbow shows and expresses itself, my opposite arm closes, and we just rock back from shoulder to shoulder, applying a little bit of pressure into the hip as we pull our shoulders back, keeping that chin and head up. And in 10 seconds, we're gonna go ahead and come back to that Seiza position, and we're gonna tie all these together. Okay, so you can stay seated on your heels again, or you can lift that butt up. Once again, we're gonna now take our hand, we're gonna take our left hand, we're gonna pull it down, pack it back, and as that pulls down and packs back, the right arm's gonna reach up and overhead, over the midline, and rotate in. And we're gonna flip-flop back and forth. We got 1 minute of this. Once again, the pace and the control is all up to you. Really just wanna make sure we're getting that rotation in each arm. And as we pull the shoulder, the elbow back, we're packing down, utilizing that lat muscle. Getting a nice big reach overhead with that internal rotation. Let the head bounce from column to column. Once again, if you wanna come up a little bit more, that's gonna turn things up in the backside. And the more we lean over Once again, gonna light things up a little bit more for us here. Keep it going. Good work here. Last bit, we're gonna get back down into that wide set rocker position, but we're gonna drop it down into a child's pose. So lean forward here. We're gonna take this left arm, pack that elbow and hand down into that left knee. I'm gonna reach this right arm up the midline and over, and just rest the forehead down. We are being active in our hips once again, trying to pull both hips long behind me, and then I'm gonna use my breath to breathe into that right side. Keep packing that left elbow back. Try and pull those hips a little bit further behind you. Pulling the right arm long ahead, trying to get as long and spacious in this right side as possible. Big deep breath into that low right side, that low back and right hip. Big deep breath in there. And as I exhale, I'm gonna bring my next breath into that right armpit. You can go Spider-Man fingers here on this right hand and just try and pull a little bit more length out of that right side. Keeping that left ear pulling long away from that left shoulder. Nice work, and let's flip it over to the right side. Once again, if you want to spend an extra minute or two in that position, another great spot for us to hang out and spend some time. That feels good for you. We're gonna pull that right elbow back down towards that right knee. Right hand rests on the ground. Packing that right shoulder back and pulling that right ear long as the left hand reaches up the midline and over to the right. I'm gonna get a nice big deep breath into that lower left back QL area. Oh yeah, lots of space to be found there. Next breath's going into that left armpit. Sternum is trying to reach long and forward over this right side. I'm not being passive, slumping into myself here. This is an active position. We're gonna get one more deep breath here and we can call it a day. All right, come out of that nice and easy. Even got a little sweat going on there myself. This is a super fun, entry-level, very gentle flow. It's awesome to do. Get it done in the morning, get it done at night. Do it before your practice round, before your range session, whatever it is. Get this work done. It will make profound changes. I hope this felt as good for you as it felt for me today. We'll check in and see you next time.